Mailbox print and business center developers.
Over 500 stores open since 2004.
All right, so let's go ahead and get started. My name is JD. I will be your host tonight. Hopefully, I do a nice job and, really explain what we are and what we do as a company and in the process, and then really go into, what Mailbox Print and Business Developers is all about and what it means to be an owner of this concept. So, first of all, really one of the first things we always talk about is, so why open now? That seems to be a question that I get quite often. Is now a good time? There's still the concern of COVID. Now the Delta variant is now a good time. And one thing you'll learn through this call, and as we move forward, I'm very honest and transparent. So I never worry too much whether someone likes my answer because it's always going to be the honest one. And right now is a great time, as this whole last year and a half has been a great time to open up a Mailbox Print and Business Center. And here is why. What COVID did from a positive standpoint, rather than all the terrible, terrible negative stuff that it did to the world, is it created a whole nother. What it's done is it's really created a need even greater than it used to be for individual businesses that do shipping, that do receiving, that do copying, and do printing. So that just isn't me speaking. One of the most recent surveys in the United States showed that 4.3 million people are still working remotely at some level from home. Well, those 4.3 million people now don't have a mail room. They don't have a print room. They don't have a copy room. They need to go somewhere. And that's where this concept plays a huge role, besides the vast number of people and businesses that you catered to before. 56% of all United States employers allow remote work at some level within their organization right now. It's increased by over 30% in the last year and a half. In that same survey, employers expect approximately 2 in 5 employees to still be working remotely at the end of 2021. So, and I think you'll see that continue, because as you look at all the articles and surveys that are being done, so many individuals have found that work-life balance, the comfort of working at home, is very appealing to them and their families, and that they have decided that this is the way to go. That and that alone tells you what a great concept this is, because this concept caters to them as well as businesses, just the businesses themselves, not talking about the individuals. So now is a perfect time. In a different survey, it talked about shipping. And I'll just give you a couple of the folks that potentially you will have in your store for shipping. Federal Express this last year did $78.7 billion in sales and revenue. UPS did $84.4 billion in revenue. So that's just the ship part. So if you start with the value package and that's what you're doing is just post and ship, it's just right there is telling you the amount of traffic and the need for that. As well as, we go back to what I said earlier about remote workers. Those folks need to ship, receive, and as most of us on this phone, if you're like me, have probably really used over this last year and continued to, and if you're like me too much, buy stuff online and have it shipped to your house. So that has created a significant increase of the need to have post and ship. From a print standpoint, the current revenue created in the print industry just in the United States is $75 billion. And that's just print. It's not print and copy combined, that's just print. And that's not major commercial print either. There is a strong belief that that will continue well through, what I talked about through 2026. It'll continue due to the strong ability of this concept to be very versatile and flexible and change with the times. From a global print industry, so in the world, $743 billion. So from just pure money standpoint, because sometimes the facts mean more than just a word, that tells you right there how great this concept is, which again is why over this last year, year and a half, this concept has grown significantly over these last few years. This concept's been in place over 15 years. Started out with what we still have as our value packages, continued to grow to include print and basically ultra print, and it continues to grow. It's just a wonderful, wonderful concept, and which again leads to is opening a mailbox store right now, right for you. And as I've said, and every time I've talked to someone who's asked me that or done a teleseminar, there's only one person that can answer that question. It's those of you on the phone. Once you hear what we do, once you see these facts, once you look at the package pricing and decide if this is what you want to do, the next question that you have to ask is, I'm the right person to do this? And let me know, and let me tell you what I mean by that is many of us have a history of working for companies or for other people. We're told when to come in. We're told when to take break. We're told when to leave. We're told what our schedule is. We're told what we're going to make. And then we go home and hopefully, enjoy our families. If that's what you like and that's what you love doing and you're comfortable with that, owning a business and a mailbox business, probably not right for you. However, if you want to be your own boss, you want to work for yourself and have your hard work pay you. You want your hard work and your dedication and your skills and your desire to not only help yourself, but create a legacy for your family. If you want to, reap the benefits of going out and marketing, you enjoy going out and meeting people, selling your product and your brand and yourself, being part of the community and not afraid of hard work. And if you get knocked down, dust yourself up, you learn a lesson from what just happened, and you move on from there, then this concept is great for you. If you're someone who wants to, has the feeling that, kind of like Field of Dreams, build it and they will come, yeah, this isn't for you because you have to work. You have to have a marketing plan. You have to get out there and meet businesses, meet individuals, sell your program. If you do it, we have stores out there every week doing $30,000 to $50,000 a week for those people that do that, and they do an incredible job. It's not everybody, because not everyone works that hard. That's kind of the things you have to look at to decide, is this for you? And and again, when we talk, I have no problem with saying, well, JD, here's what I believe, and here's what I am, and I've told people, yeah, this isn't for you. I think it's great who you are. I think you're successful. You sound like a wonderful person, but I take it personal on people being successful. You all work hard. You work hard for your money, and I want to make sure that, I would want someone to do the same for me, that you're able to maximize all of that hard work and that investment to, again, create a legacy for you and your family. So let's talk a little bit about, what is Mailbox? What is this entire company? We are certainly a concept of just Mailbox, Print, and Business Center, but we're part of a bigger network. We also do dollar stores, teen stores, party stores, and so we have all of that experience. The company as an umbrella has been here for over 25 years. There's a great deal of experience which does nothing but help you be successful. Let's kind of talk about what this process is so that you're very aware of what does it take? What do you do? Step one is, after this, you end up if it say, yeah, I think this is something I want to do. I want to maybe get more information. I want to know a little bit more. I want to, quite possibly move forward. You talk to Brent or Sean. They fill in any blanks that I may have left, and I'd love to tell you there aren't going to be any, but there's going to probably be a question that pops up in your mind as you and your family or just yourself this evening thinking about. Well, I want to make sure we answer those questions for you. Call Brent, Sean, even myself. We'll answer those for you. Then if you decide, yes, I want to move forward, then there's a $500 deposit. That money obviously goes towards your concept and the package price, which we'll talk a little bit about later. If for some reason you realize right away, hey, this isn't for me, or funding doesn't work out, or just for whatever reason you live in a community where there's absolutely no sites, which rarely happens, we refund your $500. Then what happens is once that happens, you get assigned to finance in one of our finance advisors. There's documents that they'll get from you. They give you a breakdown of what the expenses are, what the concept is, um, and whether it's a value package, a standard package, or premium. And quite honestly, you and I will talk about that before, so you're going to know which one, or we're going to know rather, which one you're going to want based on where you're going to go, so that then we can lay out that. It's called an FREW. We can lay that out for you, and then so that you're very aware. We get an intent statement that you sign that says, "Here's how I'm going to pay for this." Usually, we have to do credit checks, and then the funding. If you don't, unless you come with cash, then when you come with cash, it's a 2-3 day deal, 1 day deal. You fill out, you send us a couple forms, we send you on to real estate. But then what we do is we then get you set up with one of our network, our brokers in the network, because obviously that goes through a third party, and we're there to help you guide, walk you through, help you make sure these forms get in and you work through there. So once that process goes through, you have a pre-qualification. You and I determine that yes, you're going to have the funding for what you're looking to do. Then you get transitioned on to our real estate group. You get assigned a site locator manager and a leasing manager. What those do is you'll have an intro call. You'll have a very in-depth conversation based upon, they very much explain what we do, what we expect from you. You have to be someone who's willing to be very connected through this whole process. Because in real estate, time is lost. And if you wait 2 or 3 days to go view a site or get back to us, that great site's now gone. Someone else just leased it. They talk to you about locations. How far do you want it from your house? You live in these communities, you're going to really say, hey, this is the area. I want to be in the northeast part of Vegas. I want to be in the northwest. I don't want to be any more than 15 miles away. And you're going to have ideas even of neighborhoods and areas. Hey, I'm really interested in there. That gives our site locators a great idea of where to start working. Then we have all of the resources to contact brokers. We just don't look at MLS. We contact brokers, talk to them, find out what they have because there's many available locations that aren't advertised. So we reach out to find those. The great news is all this information as we find sites, we upload them into our proprietary software. You have a username and password. You're able to go in and see all of that. You're able to see all of the site information, aerials, neighborhoods, incomes, egress.
This is like a UPS store, like a
Well,
franchise.
it's not a franchise since you individually own it, but it is usually about the same size, and you do very, very similar things. The nice thing is you're not paying $250,000 to start, and you're not having given 7 to 10% of your gross revenue to someone else. It all goes to you. And then what you do is you'll see these sites because we're going to want to, and you're going to see everything, and we're going to talk through each site, and you're going to say, yeah, nope, this doesn't work for me, or oh, that's a great location. We're going to have you visit because it's your store. We want you to visit the store. We want you to go there during different times of the day, different days. What's parking lot? We can see what it says, but what's parking lot? Hey, there's a Publix next to it or a Giant next to it. They do $1 million a week. What do you feel about that on that draw? Or it's a standalone, but you have 50, 60,000 cars that drive by on the freeway out front. So we'll have you look at all of that information so that you can make a decision. As we narrow it down to a site that you love, then you and the leasing manager will continue to talk, and we do a letter of intent so that we can get information saying, hey, we're very interested, our client's very interested, and we start the negotiation process. Our leasing managers negotiate everything from making sure that ADA compliance is there. You have the right use permit. That site is going to be permitted to do a mailbox store. Either if work has to be done, they'll negotiate tenant improvement dollars, or they negotiate to where they take care of it. Obviously, not every landlord does either one. Sometimes they no, take it or leave it. And usually in those cases, you and I would leave it. They will also negotiate free rent. Typically, that can run anywhere from 2 months of free rent once it commences and they turn it over to you, to as much as we just had one the other day turn over to operations. They were able to negotiate 6 months free for that client. So once they get in there, they don't pay rent for 6 months. So that is wonderful, and that's what they do. Then they get back a proposed lease. They review it. They review it with you. You guys then will decide, yes, I like this, or let's work harder on the square footage amount, the triple nets, the comps. I need a little more TIs, and you guys will do that. We go back with a counter, and it goes back and forth until either is yeah, it's going to go, or no, it's not going to go, and then you go from there. If it's a yes, you get a formal lease, you sign it, and then at that point you get transitioned over to operations. Now, operations happens to be one of the areas that I oversee as well. So then what happens is we do a turnover. I have the leasing managers in my office. I have finance in my office, a salesperson, and we go over the entire project. Now, since I took over Mailbox as well, we're going to have all that usually before, because you and I are going to talk multiple times probably before you even get to that stage. But then what happens is you're in operations. We communicate. We talk probably weekly, every 10 days. We have checklists that we go over. And really what that talks about is the things that legally you need to do as an owner to have a business. Business licenses, certificate of occupancies, verifying use permits. An LLC is an example. You verified the name and you've registered your name. You don't want to have a name that someone else has registered because sadly they can legally sue you. You don't want to have that. We'll talk about exterior signage, and I kind of walk you through what you need to do in regards to that, because on the lease it'll tell you what's required. We talk about insurance. So it's all the legal things that you need to do that we continue to follow up on. And then we also talk and review all of the information on site preparedness. What needs to happen before my teams are to set up your store? I'm also the one through this process who you pay in the concept, and I'm the one who also then schedules the date of the store setup. So there's a great deal of communication. You also communicate a couple young ladies that are wonderful here in the office next to me that are my assistants that help you with banners, with uniforms. They get you information on the some memberships that you're part of that are a huge support to help you with web pages, with additional revenue generating opportunities. So, and there's that just constant information. Then what happens is, like I said, we're also the ones who we do your store setup. So what happens is I let you know who that gentleman is who's coming out. We have a local team that's been hired. We're there on the scheduled time. We meet you usually on a Sunday. We walk the store. You give us a key. We start the store setup on Monday. Assuming there aren't bumps in the road, your store is ready to have a soft open on Saturday. Now, does that happen all the time? Absolutely not. In North America right now, there's a huge shortage of delivery drivers. There's still a shortage of employees in warehouses and everything else. So deliveries are all over the board right now. But either way, we get your store set up in 7 to 10 days, typically, if not 6, and your store is ready to go. Throughout the week, I get pictures, as do my assistants, every day. So we know at the end of every day exactly what your store looks like. We know exactly what products arrived, so that then my assistant for Mailbox then does tracking the next morning so that we can every day give the gentleman updates so they know what to expect. And just so you know, there's an expectation for the owners. Monday, as I tell owners all the time, don't need you in the store. You're kind of in the way. Because that's the day that we're unloading the truck for fixtures. I don't want anyone to get hurt. Unless you want to put on a back belt and some gloves and unload that truck, that's the day you don't need to be there. But starting on Tuesday, I really expect owners to be there. Whoever's going to be running the store, if you're going to be a off-site owner, I would need that you'd want your manager, say if you're going to do that, to be there. You need to be there 2-3 hours. There's a lot for you to learn and to do. The copy company is going to set up the delivery that week with you, because when they come, they walk you through and teach you what to do. You need to be on the computer. You're going to have training prior to that. on the software programs, but we want you to get in the computer, look at all the retail items, because if you need to change the prices, that's going to be you. And so you'll need to do that obviously prior to us printing up the labels when we merchandise your wall. We're going to want you to play around with the equipment, which again we'll talk about training in a minute. You'll have training on that, but there's nothing like hands-on. So you're going to do that. If you're a store that has a print package, you'll be connected with that company and that distributor because they do Zoom training also that week and after to help you with the print package and understand how to absolutely maximize that large format printer or the sublimation machine. We don't want it just to be some pretty piece of equipment in your store. We want that to drive you up to, that $25, $30, $35,000 a month revenue. And so they do that. And then on Friday is really a day of, if everything works out, a majority of that is, you and the setup supervisor just walking through the items, feeling more comfortable, whether it be the binder, the shredder, the passport, the computer, understanding, the retail and how to change pricing. And then Saturday, if everything has gone as we would expect, you're able to do a soft open with your grand opening 2 or 3 weeks later. The difference between the two is you're still going to have cash in your cash drawer. You're still going to open up your door on that soft open. You're still going to want to start shipping, selling, everything else. But the reason you want to do a soft open is if you have a grand opening and something happens, i.e. a computer doesn't arrive on time, a counter comes and during shipping it got broken, or there's just some delay, it's not like you can reschedule the Chamber of Commerce or the mayor or ribbon cutting because it's already planned. We don't want you to lose that opportunity. That's why you do that 2 or 3 weeks later. Plus, it gives you an opportunity to get what they say is your sea legs, so you're much more comfortable. And many times you won't have your active, say, Federal Express account for 2, 3, 4 days after that. You'll have an account, but it isn't active until you send pictures. There's a whole process we walk you through that FedEx requires. So many times FedEx won't be an active account for you for 2, 3 days later. And that's just their process. And then, away you go. So let's talk about training. Finally, 2 months ago, we were able to start in-house training for mailbox and print centers again. That had stopped for over a year for obvious reasons. But this concept, we understand the importance of that. We're able to get that started again. So here's the schedule. I have it specific on every month. Like this month as an example, I have 8 different stores that are coming Monday, and training's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of this upcoming week. In August, we have 3 days starting August 16th. I have not set the date for September yet. And you get all that information way in advance, and we have you enrolled. Monday, Tuesday, it's training that lasts from about 9 to 4, 9 to 4:30. Yes, we do feed you. We don't want anyone to starve while you're here. And it is complete operations training from a 12-year owner store that we set up way back towards the beginning of the concept. Very successful owner, great trainer, and he walks you through all the operational aspects, knowing how to ship, how to process postage, how to do that. Walks you through all the equipment. We have all the equipment in our training room. And that's a 2-day process. So you're getting 16 hours of that, which is just invaluable to take that with you. On Wednesday, it's really the first half of the day for everyone who's doing print. Our distributor and actually the owner of the company that supplies all of the print equipment, which happens to be based out of Las Vegas here with us, he does an entire training for that print concept. Now, just so you understand that his training doesn't stop there. He does Zoom training then. I believe it's about every other weekend, and then it gets taped. And when you're a part of the network, you're able to do that. And so it's continued training week after week after week with different topics. And it isn't just about here's your power button, here's how you print. It talks about how to use your equipment, how to maximize your equipment. They also have very detailed and specific to your area training on how do you market your print business, because they very much are committed to you being successful as well. That's why we go with them. It's just their commitment. I spent a great deal of time. over there and with them, because if I'm going to, have them as part of this process, I needed to be comfortable when I took over this concept. And they continue, and what is invaluable again is that they teach you how to market your business. If you happen to be a store that doesn't have print, they also have a program that's called the Hub Network. And after I think it's 6 months, you're able then to actually be part of the Hub Network. You go through them. You actually have a computer in your store from day one that is used for this, to where you then are connected with a store that has the whole print package. That's an overnight away from that. It's created so that then you can have clients come into your store. They can place orders and everything for banners, for blueprints, for whatever. That order then goes to your partner that has all of that. They print it, they overnight it to them, whether it's a 60-40 split, whatever it is, and that's all worked out between you guys. You're able to get revenue from print that someone else is doing, but it's a client that you brought to them, which then usually what happens is clients see what a huge advantage of the print concept, and you end up calling me and saying, hey, what can I do to add print to my store? And that's something that we absolutely can do and have done many, many times. So you're able to take advantage of that and learn about that even before you do that. So that is the continued training. So that's really what and then we obviously we stay connected with you after that. That is what our company does and what this process is in regards to the development process of your store. So one of the things I kind of wrote down is, and I always just briefly talk about, is we touched on it a little bit earlier, is so what does it take for an owner, for one of you on the phone here, or hopefully many of you, to be successful? Well, you have to be organized. You have to be very proactive. You need to be a go-getter, willing to roll up your sleeves, and work hard. You have to be comfortable getting on the phone and talking to businesses. You have to be comfortable of creating a marketing plan and set aside 2-3 hours a week, either you or if you get a salesperson, to go out and sell your brand. And we'll talk a little bit about that in a second. You have to be committed to your success. And again, I'll go back to what I said. Don't think that just because you put open on your sign, that money's just going to coming in a wheelbarrow into your store. You have to understand customer service. Having a bright looking store, have it being clean, smelling good, greeting people with a smile. Kind of have that small town mentality with big city service, which in many cases now is lacking. And there's a couple clients that just here in the last 2, 3, 4 weeks have signed their lease, and they're doing it. And they have a competitor that's a block away, and they're taking advantage of that because that competitor's terrible. Terrible customer service, dirty store, and they said, no, give me a store right next to them because I'm going to steal all their clients because they're terrible and my community's starved for someone who's going to do a great job and to do this. So that's what it takes. So we talked a little bit, or I briefly just talked about, a marketing plan. So what that means is you're going to create a little plan, and actually I've added it where we actually have a section, if you have a print center, that shows everything your print can do. And then we have you then over a short period of time create the same thing but make it a little more personal so that clients can see, what I don't know if you know what I mean, but it's called like a big head, where you see it advertised a lot, where it's like someone in a football uniform, like your son, your daughter, and it's a big picture, and maybe they have a big head, and they put it on their wall. Pretty cool. So those are things you can make. So when you can have one that's a relative, you have a canvas. In fact, those of you who come here to training, you'll see in the training room, I have 2 or 3, 4 in this because we have it all set up in our training room. I did the same thing that I'm asking you so that you can see, where I have a canvas of my wife and son. I have a canvas of my dog. One of my employees has a canvas of their dog. So, because we want it to be personal because it means more. We want you to show the clients what they can do. We have a banner. All of this would be up in your store so that you can display exactly what it does, because the print concept, 90% is self-serve. Clients walk up, there is a touch screen monitor. They go in on what they want to do in the template. They can either fill in the template, away it goes, they're done, it comes over to you. Click, click, you take their money, their stuff is ready, and away you go. Um, or they can create their own, which is there. So not only does it drive revenue by having the section all set up, it's kind of selling it for you while you're doing shipping or taking care of another client, so that then someone goes there, they say, oh, they do banners. Then they come to you and you don't even have to say anything. They say, I need to get 3 of those banners here, and it's already done. And then again, 1 minute of click, click, you're good to go. And that's the goes. So since I'm talking about print, let me just give you a couple, I guess, ideas on profit for these. So I mentioned canvas. So an 18, inch canvas takes you about, I don't know, 4 or 5 minutes to do. Client goes in, they put in the picture, it prints up on the canvas, they do the sign. They have 2 or 3 options when it comes to the borders. They do that. You then, put it on the frame, tighten it up, do what you need to do. That costs you as an owner $8. And that includes the ink, the paper, the wood frame, the whole process. It costs you $8 basically to do that. Those retail for $69.99 anywhere you go retail wise. Business cards. It costs you, and I believe this is for 250, 200. It costs you $1.50 or to $1.62 to make those 200 cards through your system. They sell for $20. Same thing on the banner. It's you have that type of a margin where what you sell it for compared to what it costs you. You're making 30, 40, $50 on that item. The other thing this printer does, so those are 2 of the things. You can do portraits. Very popular, obviously, family portraits during the holidays. You advertise that. It has also become very popular for those of you who either yourself or have had kids recently who are seniors, and you have to make that decision on, are you going to spend $5, $6, $7, $8, $900 for senior pictures. They can just take pictures, come in, and you have templates to create those senior pictures. And it makes you a great deal of money. It saves those clients and the people in your community a significant amount of money. It also does wrapping paper. That's very popular with a lot of businesses throughout, say, realtors. They come in and they do it very consistently every quarter, where they put their properties on there. They give gifts during the holidays, baskets, all of that, and they have all their properties on there. That happens quite often. It does things like menus. I don't know about in your community, although I know here in Las Vegas and many places, a lot of restaurants now are gone to paper menus, and they have to replace them. That's where a lot of our clients are making a significant amount of money through businesses to do that. They do a lot of work for hotels, restaurants, as I just said, and doctors. Also, a lot of smaller and medium-sized, even corporate retail establishments. A lot of their POP, which is their promotional signage, they get templates and then they get it printed locally. A lot of our stores are again have that where it's set up where every single promotion that these retail clients have, they're coming in, so you have a built-in base through all of this, or if they're constantly coming in to do. Another great way to drive revenue is through architects and design firms. They're bringing in their blueprints, or also what comes is a 36-inch mobile scanner. And so many clients, they take the scanner, you go to that person's business, you scan all their work, take it back, it prints up, they come in and pick it up the next day. So those are just a few of the things that you can do. And we've talked about shipping, we've talked about printing. You have mailboxes that you rent, which again can bring in that consistent revenue as well as that consistent flow of customers. Most of our clients get their notary, and they do notary, which again goes back to that remote client, that so many people need notaries, and now you can't just walk down the hall and have another employee do your notary. You have to go somewhere. That's a big thing when it comes to this. So those are just some of the things that this can do for you. And as long as you're willing to roll up your sleeves, work hard, and be committed, it is a great concept. And I'll tell you, and again, I'm not belittling Dollar and Party and Teen, because obviously those are part of our company as well. In fact, I'm the vice president of all of those as well as this. So I love those as well. But what makes this great is that's retail. And you know, you have to have your store open 10, 11, 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, and 9, 10 hours on that seventh day. That isn't what mailbox print and business centers usually do. You save so much in labor. You don't have to hire 5, 6, 7 people. You may have one and a half or two, one full time and a part time at the most. So your labor costs are there. You may open from 8 in the morning till 6:30 of an evening. Saturday, you may be open from 8 until noon or 8 until 1, and you're closed Sundays. So not only are you driving revenue, you're serving your community, you are creating a legacy, you're still able to have that great family and work balance, which is so important to so many people. And it doesn't hurt your revenue, because this is a service-oriented business. So that is, in a nutshell, our development company. That's the concept, both in shipping, post, and print. So please, I would really love, and I like this part of it, to please open it up. Please ask some questions, and I will do my darndest to give you the best answer. And like I said, if it's more specific and you need more details, we can talk tomorrow and even give you, give you some more details. So please, feel free to ask any questions that you have. And there
I
has
have
to
a
be,
question.
yeah, please.
How hard is it to learn the equipment?
It's not. Now, and I always tell people, as long as you are willing to give yourself a break and not get into that mentality of I should know this, and understand it's going to take some practice, but it's not. You have to practice. You're not going to know day one. You're going to learn. You're going to learn. You're going to learn. But the great news is you have all that training through the print, through the copier, the software. You're part of um, training, and we've had many clients that do it 2, 3 times. It's Zoom calls with the software company. They do that training for you as well. So,
Mhm.
again, it goes back to when I was in retail, and I would hire managers and everything else, and they just beat themselves up going, oh, I should know how to do this. Well, no, you don't. You have to open yourself up, be vulnerable, and be willing to learn, and you'll be great. So just give yourself a
How
break,
many
and you'll learn well.
how many different, besides the software system, how many different machines do you have to learn how to work?
Well, I don't know, 6 or 7. And now, obviously, if
Hmm.
you expand to print and print more, you're going to add another 3, 4, 5 to that, depending upon whether you did the standard or the premium package. But again, the great news is the people that are teaching you there and are incredible technical support are there at a heartbeat, from a phone call. But
I got a question.
yeah, please.
Okay.
Thank you for the question.
The
By
question
the way.
I have is that I just joined the meeting. I have a question that
Okay.
how do you find the location?
So, and we went through that. We have a whole real estate that is part of this process. We have site locators, leasing managers, and there's a whole process we go through. What I would say is, if you missed a lot of it, one, this teleseminar within 2 days can be sent out. It will be available. Or two, whoever was the email contact that got sent to you, call them so you can fill in the blanks. But in a nutshell, we have a very detailed real estate department as part of our development company.
I have a question. But before.
Okay. Whoever wants to jump in.
So I'm looking online right now, and so you are a developer. So you're a mailbox developer. What is the name of the company? Is that going to be our name, or do we
Oh,
create our own name?
the great thing is you create your own name. Now, if it's a crazy name, I'm going to tell you. But no, that's a great thing about this. You're not a franchise. You are an individual owner. So if you wanted to name your store JD, ship, print, and mail, that's what you would name it. You just have to register and make sure no one else has. But this is 100% your store. And obviously, from a name standpoint, you want it to be concise, not too cute, so that people have to scratch their head and wonder what you do. You want to say what it is.
All right.
And same thing on your web page and everything else. But yeah, that's just one of the great things is you're not beholden to anybody. It's yours.
So
Yeah.
how many stores do you guys have right now with entrepreneurs?
How many stores do we have? What? I'm sorry, I didn't hear the last thing that you said.
Yes, I'm about to. How many stores how many people, I guess, companies do you have underneath you since you started the development thing?
600.
Nice. Okay.
600
Okay.
mailbox. The whole
Yeah, all
concept,
right.
well over 4,000, but just mailbox, 600.
My question is, if the company is my own, if it's not franchise,
Yes.
can I make it scalable? I mean, can I duplicate that my own company in another location?
Well, of course you can.
So apparently someone said, of course you can. Um, we certainly have clients who have done multiple sites, if that's your question. Um, now, would you be able to, do it the same way we are? I don't know. But we certainly have people that have multiple sites, so yes, in all of our concepts.
I was told that you do not do Brooklyn, New York.
We do Brooklyn, New York. Um, are there some areas that are more difficult and sometimes a little more time consuming than others? Yeah, and yes, Brooklyn is one of them. We have done Brooklyn. That can be difficult at times, and a lot of it has to do with the city itself, and some of the things that the city puts entrepreneurs through. But from a mailbox standpoint, there hasn't been one location or one city that we don't do. Some of the other concepts that isn't necessarily the case, but we don't have any locations that we've said no, we're not going to do Brooklyn, we're not going to do Miami, we're not going to do San Francisco. No.
JD,
Okay.
Yep.
couple of quick questions. And I know it varies across the country.
Yeah.
What do you think the average rent per square foot should be for a store?
Yeah. I don't have a great answer for you because there's so many variables, and if I gave you something, I'd just be throwing it up against the wall. I had a store that just did one that was $24 a square foot. I had another one that was 20. I had another one that was 30. It is just so dependent upon the area and the landlord that there really isn't a great answer. Obviously what you're going to pay in Nashville is not even close to what you're going to pay in San Jose.
I got you. Two quick questions, then I'll let other people ask a question.
Yeah.
What do you think the average square foot store should be when you add print?
I will tell you, we've done stores anywhere from, if they're just doing, say, the post and print, anywhere from 900 to 12 or 1300, and usually the average is right around 1,000 to 1,100. Now, I will tell you, we've had some clients that have gone a little bigger, and the reason they've gone bigger is they add a couple conference rooms that they rent out. But if you don't do that, really the average is right around 1,000 to 1,200.
Okay. And the other real quick question is, I know you talked about banners. What do you have any idea what the costs of those are? I know you can make 30 or 50 bucks, but like on a 6 foot or on just a banner per square foot, what do you think the cost is on that?
I think your 3x6 banner probably is going to cost you about $15, $12 to $15, on the high end.
So how many 6-foot banner is about $15?
At the high end.
Okay, because just for everybody's information, I know FedEx in Northwest Indiana here charges $6 a square foot.
Since we are not the franchise, which company will train us on the run?
Okay, I'm sorry. Since we're not a franchise, what? I apologize.
Who will help us on the ongoing if we need help, technical help?
Well, the same development company that you got your store set up, that'd be us. We've been open for 15 years and developed your store, so it depends what it is, right? If it is about the print, you have that distributor and that owner that supplied it. If it's the copier, you have that copy company. If it is, in regards to marketing and those, you are, and we pay the first year for you. You're part of a massive organization that has more resources than I can even explain. And then obviously there's myself and my assistants. So there's never a lack of support.
JD?
Yes, sir.
Another quick question, sorry. Do you own the equipment or lease it?
No, you own it.
We own it. Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
And the other inclusive question is that, are you the one who is just concerned about the business plan? Can we say like that? Or are we the one who can develop the business plan?
Okay, so from your business plan, are we talking about the business plan you need to put together if you're doing self-funding, or a business plan after you're open to kind of project what you're going to do? Just so I understand and I can answer you.
The business plan is something that you have to prepare in advance. So
yeah, we have a template that's already built, because many clients need that when they do self-funding. We have a template that's already there, and then you just plot things in that kind of puts there what you need. And then also, when asked, when a client gets in-house, if they need a financial plan. Now again, it's based upon a industry average, because I obviously cannot do one specifically for your store, because how could I? I don't run it, I don't market it, the employees don't work for me, I don't hire them. But we also give you kind of a breakdown from a financial standpoint, which again, many owners want, that kind of say, here's what your expenses are, here's what your bottom line should be. So we help you with
what is your rewards? What is your rewards? At the end of the day.
What is my what?
Your payment. I mean, what we are going to pay for you.
What are you going to pay me?
Yeah.
Okay, so it depends what you get. As I can tell you today, our value package, which is the post and ship package, which is really what this company, the concept started, it's $78.9 plus tax, of course, but $78.9. If you do our standard package, which includes the print, and that is, and there's multiple things that you get, but basically it includes the large format printer, the mini printer, the mobile scanner, memberships, increased retail. That's $98.9. And then the premium package, which it's all of the first two, plus there's heat presses, sublimation machines, cup and mug presses, and additional POS. That's $128.9. Now I will tell you that that's the prices today. In 2 to 4 weeks, those prices are going to be more, because as you see, you probably experience, and everything, unfortunately, when it comes to supply shipping, has gone up. So obviously our costs have gone up, whether it be metal, whether it be equipment. So I've just gotten all that information. So those prices in 2 to 4 weeks will increase.
The $500 deposit.
Yes.
What's in store?
Hi, I have a question.
Well, here, just one. No,
during...
ma'am, excuse me.
Oh, sure.
I was answering the gentleman's question about his deposit.
Yes, please.
So that $500 that basically gets you in house, so we start working for you. There has to be some, as they say, skin in the game. We're going to help you through financing. We're going to help you find a site in real estate. And all you've invested in all through that process is $500. So, and then obviously then you pay the full packages within the week of you coming to operations. But that $500 allows my team to start helping you with that broker network for financing, and then our real estate team starts looking for sites. And then, like I said, that $500 goes towards your package. Okay? And then, ma'am, you had a question?
Hi. Yes, my apologies.
Oh, no, you're
I
fine.
have a question.
Yes.
I just wanted to know, during the operations point, when we're doing the LLC and we have to get insurance, is all that covered within the package, or is that paid for separately?
No, that wouldn't be part of the package, just because that's something that you as an individual owner can only do. I can kind of give you direction, but unfortunately, like the LLC, that's something, if that's what you decided to do, or an Escort, what have you, that's something that you would do. Same thing with the city permits and everything. So those would be additional operational startup costs that you would need to pay. And obviously that's going to be a different amount for everyone based upon where you are.
Okay, thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure. Anything
I have a
else?
question.
Yes, sir.
So, is it any discounts for any other outside shippers that we use?
Any discounts for?
As far as their prices, like, do they give us discounted prices on shipping and receiving?
Well, you are going to their prices that you're going to give your clients are going to be the same as they are down the street. Obviously, you're going to get an amount of that as well. But a Federal Express, as an example, if someone ships from you or they go to it, because those are approved through FedEx, their prices are going to be the same with you or someone down the street. Because obviously they're a large corporation, they set those.
Okay.
As an example.
What is the average monthly revenue for the business?
So I will give you an industry number because, as I said earlier, that depends on you.
Right.
The value package, which again is the post and ship, and again this is assuming running a great store, doing everything. That value package, the industry average and what kind of across the board, even with the clients that we know that we speak with, they do 10 to 20,000 a month. The folks that do that plus the print range anywhere from 15 to 50 a month. I will tell you that we heard from countless people that we've developed over the years that during this last year they were doing 30, 35 a month, and in November, December, and that's continued, that increased to 50. Now please understand, those are people that roll up their sleeves, just pound the pavement, work hard, are creating a brand in their community, part of the Chamber of Commerce, marketing, they're obviously working hard and really, but once you do that, that foundation is there. Most of them have told us, those that have been open for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years, this last 12 to 15 months has been the most profitable they've ever had since they've been open.
Is there guidance given on what marketing can create the best revenue, or what tactic can create the best revenue?
Yeah,
from you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, not just from us, from the training. If you have print, they have as I said, their marketing is amazing, and then the association that you're part of, their tools and resources, as well as additional revenue generating options, whether it be DMV kiosk, fingerprinting, ATM, EBTs. There's so many different things that people around the country have got into. You have access to all of that information, as well as they have marketing tools along with their general resources. So there's quite a bit of information that you can get.
Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure.
JD?
Thank you very much.
Yes.
I have a question. On average, I mean, I know the cost of the buy-in to begin the process and to buy into the program, but how much reserve cash should one need to accommodate, the payroll and, obviously, like you said, the LLC and filing permits, that's different in every state. but I'm just wondering on average what should be a cash reserve.
Well, I will tell you, usually what I'm seeing, and I apologize, I think I interrupted you before you finished. I'm sorry. Usually what we see is folks will have anywhere from $15,000 to $30,000 for working capital.
Okay. And then my next question, you mentioned that we own the equipment, but once that equipment is depreciated out, is there some type of buyback program from the vendors that get this equipment from for upgrade?
Now, they don't take it back and give you, as a trade-in. I mean, obviously they you'll have their contacts. You can always upgrade, but they don't have a trade-in policy.
Are we obligated to carry some specific products, or we are free to get it from any vendor?
Well, once we've set up your store, because obviously our packages are set. They are what they are. But once you're done, heck, you can do whatever you want. We have people that have created little sections where they have balloon counters, and they've done that. Like I said, we had a client that had a DMV kiosk, other ones that do, other items. So again, it's your store. Now we set it up very, based upon the package that you purchase, but it is your store.
JD?
Yes, sir.
Question. On all the packages, is the website that you develop included?
Actually, the association I've mentioned a couple times, they actually help you, even before your store's open, create your webpage. And one of the things that we have actually just added, in fact, I just proofed it today, is part of the training, our corporate software marketing individual that works here in the office, he actually does a whole training seminar for clients, which, again, we actually just added last month, and that training, where he walks you through how to utilize Google, how to utilize the internet, so you're not having to pay other people to do it and spend hundreds of dollars. You're able to do it yourself. So that is something we've actually added to the in-house training.
So what's the answer to the question? Is it included in the price?
Yeah, as I said, it is included in the price because it's part of the membership with that you're part of. They set it up before your store opens.
Great. Thank you.
JD, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah. Can you lease the machines? For example,
no, they're strictly purchased. Now, obviously, if you wanted to add additional things, you could talk to the distributor, and they have leasing programs.
Do you have a special
this package.
pricing?
For the leasing, I don't know the answer because I haven't had anyone lease anything before, because it's not part of my program. I'm just saying you would have that contact information. I know that's something that they do.
I mean, a part of what we have to pay almost at 100,000. Is it a big part of it? One of these machines?
Oh, it's all of that machines. Again, you have all of the copiers and the printers, the scanners, the retail, all of the software, the computers. That's all part of that price. When you're done and we're done setting up your store, you open up and you run your business.
JD?
Yes.
I ran a printing store before, and I always leased the machines. I don't know. I don't know if you think it's gonna help if you do that and avoid the big money of purchasing it. And you can always, when you lease it, you can always get a newer one when they come in.
Yeah. Well, and again, sir, that just isn't part of what we do. That's not part of our program.
I see.
JD?
Yes.
You're better off buying the equipment and then depreciating it over time. It's a big tax benefit.
Oh, no, absolutely. From a tax standpoint, you're absolutely correct. And again, like I said, it's almost a moot point in the fact that we sell a package, and then you can always expand and do stuff beyond that, which we have clients that do, and then either go leasing or go purchase. It's up to you.
I spoke with one of the owners who use your services, and they mentioned that when the customers are copying anything, that some of the funds for copying, the charges for copying goes back to the company who you purchased the copier from. How does that work?
Well, that isn't true. There's part of the program that we pay for you the first year is you have a certain amount of copies and everything that are included that you don't have to pay for. When you get over that limit, obviously, as you have to purchase more, just like any copier, there is a charge. Whatever it's 5 cents, 10 cents, whatever. Um, Very seldom do we have someone exceed that amount.
So after you reach a certain amount of copies, you pay the company that you purchased the copier from?
That is correct.
Well, then if that's the case, then you wouldn't actually own the equipment. You're still paying.
No, you do own the equipment. It's part of the software program that is package that you have with them. After the first year, obviously, we pay the first year.
The part of
So
service.
it's the software company that you're paying for using their services on the software, not the actual copy machine.
Again, there is an amount of copies that on their system, just like mine downstairs, that when you read a certain level, there is a charge through the copy company. And like I said, I can get you more of those details if you want to email me your email. I can get you that information exactly. I'll be more than happy to get you that tomorrow. I'm in the office all day.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'd be more than happy to. Any other questions?
Where can I find your email?
Well, let me
Can
give
you
it
repeat your email?
Well, there's a couple emails. The original email that was sent out to you that had, well, probably it had a picture of me, unfortunately, but it had Brent and it had his contact information. If you got one, if it went through him, you got one for Sean and his contact, but mine, if you would like. I would suggest you go with Sean or Brent because they're going to be able to be a lot more responsive in a much, much quicker manner, but you're more than welcome to send it to me. Mine is JD, so the two letters, .gray, Gray, at DRSS, it's like David, Randy, Sam, DRSS mail, mail.com. And of course, reference the teleseminar and what your questions are, and I'll absolutely make sure we get your answers for you on any questions that
would
come
you
up.
Would you please to put your email on the chat box?
Will I put my email where?
The chat box. The platform has chat box, and click and just put it there so everybody can get it from there.
Well, yeah, I can log into there. I'm not in there. I'm on my phone. I don't have it up on the screen. But like I said, all of that information was part of the emails. Oh, yeah, sorry. All of the contact information was on the emails that went out to you.
I added it.
Yeah, last week or this week.
I added the email to the chat box.
Oh, all right. Thank you.
Can you give us the email to the most reliable, resourceful person you said?
Oh, well, again, it could be Brent, which is Brent.Thompson, and the same end at drssmail.com, and again, you'd want to contact the person that was on the email that was sent to you, or it's Sean, and his last name is McGuan at drssmail.com as well. And they're both great guys, very, very knowledgeable.
Thank you.
Katie, do you do financing for us, or I think I missed that part of it?
Oh yeah, no, we get you set up with a third-party broker network. We don't do in-house financing because we're not a finance company, but we have a broker network that we get you set up with, and then kind of help you navigate that.
And do you have to have a great FICO score to do that, or
there's a lot that goes? Well, no, it absolutely matters because I mean you're talking a loan, and there's a lot that goes with that. They look at your FICO score, they look at the depth and breadth of your credit, They look at the revolving credit. They look at your debt to income. They look at, obviously, you need to have revenue coming in, usually a job. They look at all of that just like any regular loan would.
Do you recommend using a company that you already have or creating a new LLC or Escort?
I have people that do both. I have a lot of folks that have their own company and then they do a DBA.
Got it.
So it really is based on what you want to do tax-wise and whether you want a separation. But I will tell you, it's probably 50-50 split for people that say own. I just did one today where they have a cleaning business. Had another one that does. We have a lot of folks that either do tax or they do real estate. And so a lot of times they'll either do a DBA or they'll do a separate one. It's just really what you and your accountant, I guess, decide is best for you financially. Well, if that is everything, I have to tell you, I really thank you for all of your time. Just absolutely some great questions, which always makes this so much more fun and enjoyable. So thank you so much for your participation. And again, please get a hold of us tomorrow, Monday. Give it some thought. Let us answer questions. Let us get started because really right now we're really looking at, fourth quarter and, getting people started so that you can have fourth quarter in there is in your revenue and get that kind of extreme increase in customers to really start visiting you, which carries you on throughout the year. So, we're really talking about, I know it's only July, but we're really talking about getting stores open September, October, November. So, if it's something you want to do, really give it some thought and let us help you and answer any questions you have. So, again, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. You all have a wonderful evening and good night.